Hi, and welcome to the second chapter of my spiritual journey, adulthood. So, yes, I started having, I already had these things, but it got worse, right? So, I had all these encounters with spirits, literal encounter with spirits, right? And then the dreams that I could not understand. Like, I would have a bunch of snakes in my dreams, being attacked in my dreams from other things, and a bunch of animals in my dreams. But it just, the way the dreams were formed, it was just like, you can tell like something's up, but you don't know what it is, because I didn't know anything back then about these types of spiritual activities going on. I didn't know. And then all that was going on, but it never affected my day-to-day life. That would happen, and then I would be over it, and I'm just living, like, going out, having fun with my friends. you know I was in college at the time, getting my bachelor's. And then I want to say, after I got my bachelor's, right, degree, I think it was after, yeah, I started to have this urge in me to do something more spiritually. Like, it just came out of nowhere. I was having so much fun. That stuff was like fine. My mom would just force us to go on Sundays, like, hey, wake up, go to church, right? But you don't want to go. But I think after my bachelor's, I was like, something is missing. I need something, like, I need to be serious about something. I could, you can feel this thing inside of you saying you need more. So spiritually, I just felt that way. So, it was approaching my 25th birthday, because I remember telling my friends, after this, I'm going to start pursuing more of, spiritual life. Like, I'm going to church more and taking it actually seriously. Like, I'm going to take it seriously. Um, So I told them, but 25th birthday is a milestone. Come on. So I was like, afterwards, I want to have fun. So we went to the Bahamas and we went on a cruise. It was really fun. So I did that. And then I'm a person that sticks to their word. Like, I have strong willpower. So it was my 26th birthday. I start to slowly get into being more serious about church stuff. But after a few years, not long, maybe I want to say 5 or less, 5 years. No, I don't know. Um, I start, like, within those 5 years, I start realizing certain things on my own. I'm not here to offend anybody. Please, this is not about you. Okay, this is my spiritual journey. I don't have anything against you to be offending you. Okay, so please don't take it personally. um. I just noticed things that didn't add up. And so I decided to, because like I said, I have willpower, and I'm a determined person. So I do my own digging, my own research. And I'm like, if I'm in church, of course I'm gonna read the Bible. Like, why wouldn't you? There's people who don't read it front to back. Like, I read that thing because I'm involved. Like, when I'm involved in something, I'm going to do it 100%. And I did, and I meant it from my heart. And that's another thing. Excuse me, that's another thing. I'll put my heart into things, right? And I will mean what I'm doing. So I don't want anybody to come for me saying you didn't mean it enough, you didn't do it right. I don't need that. If you feel that way, that's on you. This is my journey, my channel. Please do not comment anything crazy, please. Just we have to respect each other at this day and age. We just have to learn to respect each other. So for me, it wasn't working. Okay, so I decided, after all the research I did, deep diving, and they tell you study to show thyself approved, right? So I studied, and they tell you what to study. Like, this is the history here. It matches along what happened. But to what degree? When you go into the real actual history, not what is given here in the surface, it it kind of veers off a little bit. So I said, okay, well, I'm not going to be, you literally would not stick with something, anything else. Let's take religion out. Anything else, you wouldn't stick with it if it had some inconsistencies and things that are not right. You would never in a million years stick with it. And if you did, you would tell yourself, this is not right. I need to get out of this maybe relationship with my boyfriend or girlfriend, or um why am I at this job? There's something so off about it. Or you're not going to go to school and learn that something is off about what you wanted to do, and it's like, well, it's not what I thought it would be. You're not gonna stick with these things. You're not gonna go to a restaurant knowing that, yeah, they make what you like, but they're spitting in your food. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna ever stick with anything that's inconsistent or doesn't go with what you believe, or you know what I mean? Like, you would never. So there's too many inconsistencies, and the excuse that I was always given from everybody will be, well, yeah, but still, like the surface, like that doesn't matter. you know what matters is what the board says. Like, I was literally told that when I dug deep about Christmas, all these things, I brought it up, they would be like, oh, well, it's the board decided that it's okay to do these things because it will help win souls. I'm like, but then you're literally being hypocritical because you're going against what the Bible says, what you live by, which is God's word. So I just couldn't. I personally couldn't do it. If you find that that's for you, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I don't judge you. I don't care. This is your life. You have to live the life according to how you want to live it, and I respect it, okay? I just couldn't do that for myself. So I ended up leaving the church. So I ended up leaving the church. Period. Like, all of it together. It wasn't one specific church that did this to me, like people like to think. It was all of it, okay? So I left, and what ended up happening was right before, and like, okay, during my research and all these things, I ended up, when your path is being laid before you. So certain things came into my life right before that happened for me to be able to jump on that as I was heading out. You know what I mean? So I can look into these things and, like, the universe, or whoever you want to call it, God, the universe, source creator, put these things before me, or you want to call yourself, right? To me, it's all one, because, you're your universe in the body, right? In the physical. It's the same concept. Everybody has all of religion has the same concept, but there's naming it different things and saying it in different ways, okay? So from there, a lot of Hebrew stuff came up, like Hebrew Israelite stuff and all that stuff, right? Started coming up. So I was going towards that direction, but I didn't, after just only like a couple of months, like literally like 2 months maybe, I don't know. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just following more people and more things, and eventually you're gonna bump into something you don't like about this. Like, you're just following again. You need to find your own and let you lead. You know what I mean? Your spirit lead you to the right direction. And it's so funny because as I was thinking that, I said, okay, I'm gonna not do this, but I wasn't sure. And then when I went to sleep, so I have like spirits visit me, I told you, right? So upon waking, it's more clear to hear the voice. I also have clear audience, so I'll have spirits talk in my ear as well. And then they talk to me literally, right? So a spirit visited me, and told me, because at first I was scared, because that's your first reaction all the time, even though it's been happening for many years to me. You're still not used to it, right? At that point, I still wasn't used to spirits visiting me. And when I do, it used to not be as good of an experience as lately I've been having. All right. So it started then, actually, the good experience. That spirit came in and told me, you know, I can tell that I was supposed to be scared on purpose, actually, because when I was a little scared, I was confused. I was like, I'm not scared as I normally would be, but I just feel like I should be scared, but he's not putting fear into me. Like, I don't feel fearful with him being here. So what's going on? And I was like, maybe I should just call, like I always do, upon names to get out of it. Like back then I used to call on Jesus and all this, or then I started the Hebrew thing was only like a couple of months. But I was like, maybe I should use that name, Yeshua, or they have so many different names. So I was like, should I like go back to those things and call? And then he looked at me and he shook his head and said, those names won't save you. And then he walked right out the door again, like the material of the door, because he's a spirit. And you only know what the message means to you, right? So for me, I know for a fact what he was saying was, none of those religious things are going to save me. Like, I'm calling on all these names is not going to save me, right? And then it just confirmed everything I was already saying about I need to just let my own spirit guide me. And then, you start learning about spirit guides and, like you start learning about all these things and let all that guide you along the way. So once I did that, I started to hear the voices much more clear, and they were teaching me things, right? And the teachings were good. There was I had no more sleep paralysis. I had no more spiritual attacks. Everything was great. The voices helped me. Nothing they ever told me to do was ever hurt me. Like it was just uphill from there. Like everything was beautiful. So I really can't complain about what I had to leave behind and just say this is no longer serving me, to now having wonderful experiences, realizing that everything is, for a reason. I used to say that, but then now I really truly mean it. Like everything really is for a reason, good or bad, and you learn your lessons. It's just, everything is, I see things much better now. I'm human, so once in a while, I'll get a little upset about something, but then I have to go back and center because I don't want to go backwards. I just love the direction that I'm being taken into. In between this, so before all of this, these voices and all the Hebrew stuff, before all that happened, way before, remember, let's go way back to way back to when I was getting my bachelor's in college, right? I had graduated, everything was good. So maybe about 2 years later, I want to say, I heard a voice say massage. And then I was like, that's so weird. Like, if, the voice kind of sounds like yours, but you can tell it's not really yours. And you're like, it kind of comes in a thought form, but then you can tell, kind of decipher, like, that's not really me. All right, so that's what was happening to me. I would hear massage constantly for about 2 weeks. And I said, but I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to touch bodies. Like, I have everybody makes fun of me because I don't like germs. And so that was not on my radar to be a massage therapist. And I couldn't ignore the voice anymore. And this is before I even turned into, 25. Yeah, this is before I turned, or during it's kind of like during. It's like the time frame is a little iffy, but it's like before and a little during my going into Christianity, okay? So I kept hearing massage, 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 and I said, oh my gosh. Yeah, this is going into me. Yes, I remember now. This is me slowly going into Christianity. Remember, I slowly started going at 26, but I fully went deeper at 28, okay? All right, so I hope I'm not confusing anybody. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know in the comment section. And I know I talk fast. I'll try to slow it down. It's just I was born this way. All right, so I kept hearing that. So then I said, okay, I have to look into this. Why does this keep popping up? And I did. And I was like, okay, maybe I should look into doing it. So then I contacted the school, set up an appointment to talk to this person there. So then I went in, and And I was like, I don't know if I should do this. Because then I saw the curriculum. I was like a little intimidated by the science. I saw myology. I was like, what the hell is that? It was a little intimidating. I was like, I don't know. I already done my college. I'm finished. I don't want to do anymore. This is like scary. Like, I don't want to do, this is like science. Like, all right. So the guy was just doing his job. But you know, when you're supposed to do something, like me, like I'm supposed to do something along my path, you're gonna hear the words differently. So he's doing his job, but I heard it as something that I needed to hear. Does that make sense? So all he said was, well, you never know until you try. That's all he said. And I said, oh my gosh, because those words you hear all the time, but it rang so true in that moment. Like I needed to hear that because that's something that this is part of my life path that I had no idea was a part of my life path, massage therapy, right? But so him saying that was like, I was like blown away. Like mind blown. My mind was blown. I was like, oh my gosh. It just sounds so true in that moment. And so I did it. I did it. And guess what? I absolutely fell deeply in love with massage therapy. Deeply in love. And it showed in my work. Let me tell you something. People, it shows in my work. I'm still getting phone calls to this day, even though I'm not doing it anymore. Everybody knows that I'm not in the area. It shows. I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to show you that my love for this thing, caused me to do great. All right. It's because, and I'm still proving something to you here. It's because I was supposed to do it. Like it's my life path, right? And in that moment, right now, I'm veering off of it because there's other things that are popping up now to continue in my life path. Okay. But I hope I'm not confusing with the timelines here, but that's what happened also along the way. All right. Massage therapy. I'm bringing that up because massage therapy ended up leading me down like a spiritual path. Okay. So it was like in conjunction with me learning about the church not, working out. It's not for me, okay? I don't want to offend anybody. It's not for me. So it was in the same time frame, right? I was still a massage therapist and I was still going to church and everything, but as I was learning that, other things were popping up with massage that were so spiritual because along comes, especially if you're really involved in it, right? Along with that will come in other healing methods because I'm in alternative medicine and I prefer to incorporate more Eastern medicine into my practice, right? And then you go deeper and you learn more modalities because you're open now. When you leave the Western world behind, you're more open to other types of healing. So I became more open to Reiki and all these other things, and I started to learn and get it done to me, and it was a wonderful experience. And then, your mind, you get to expand or broaden your horizons like that way, okay? So, remember, I'm not writing anything. I'm being raw here. I'm just coming at you with this. So my and my thinking is me trying to tell my story as authentic as I possibly can. Nothing is written down. So forgive me for pausing and thinking, but I want to just give it to you like this so I can just flow. You see how fast I'm talking and how it's just coming out? Like I just want to flow and have a conversation. All right. So yeah, that is pretty much what happened in that chapter of my life with the spiritual experiences. I mean, I feel like it's getting long and I want to stop it here, but I will maybe give you a sneak peek into the next chapter of the spiritual experiences. One of them is spirits coming to me to cross them over. Okay. So yeah, it just continues to grow from where I left, where I'm leaving you off here. My spiritual experiences have continued to grow. So I'm definitely gonna stop it here. It's getting long, and yeah, I'm gonna continue the next chapter. All right, next week. Thank you so much for listening. Please, 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 if you stayed this long, support me, subscribe, and give me a like. It really does help me out, and I would really appreciate it. Okay. I do things all from my heart, but also if I'm doing them, I might as well say, hey, I'm doing this on YouTube. How about you give me a like? How about you subscribe? And I would appreciate it very much. And have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your week. I don't know when you're listening to this, but it always stays relevant to just be blessed. Okay? Until next time, guys, I'm signing out. Ready to call upon my ancestors to assist.